So the Minister of Forestry, Fishery and the Environment took a tour to see the extent of the damage by the floods here in Mpumalanga and Limpopo. What he told us is that it is extensive. Of course, assessments still needs to be made. Let's talk to the CEO of SANParks, of course, Apilo Sello. She's the CEO of SANParks. Ma'am, I know it's still too early to say the extent of the damage, but you know, your sense of the damage so far?
Some of our low water bridges are still underwater, so like the one that we're standing in front of right now. So it's very difficult for us to determine how bad things are. We have flown over Letaba camp, and we have seen that there has been quite a significant amount of damage on the ground to the chalets themselves. There is a huge amount of damage to the high water bridge at Letaba, so that's a very expensive piece of infrastructure. Some roads obviously have been destroyed as well. So we're looking at a rebuild that is going to be rather costly. And that's what we're preparing ourselves for. We think that by the end of the coming week, we should have a better idea of how bad the damage is. Even in instances where, for example, bridges seem to have survived undamaged, they still have to be tested in terms of their integrity, structural integrity. So there's a lot of work that we're anticipating going forward in the next coming weeks from an engineering point of view. Obviously, insurance has to come on board, but the truth of the matter is, as the Minister has also indicated, we're making a clarion call to South Africans who love the Kruger, and even international tourists who love the Kruger. There are a lot of people who support the Kruger to help us rebuild. Let's put our efforts together. SANParks can do this on its own, but it's going to take us several more years if we do this on our own. And we're calling for help. No donation is too little. No donation is too much. And for transparency's sake, we're going to make sure that we put that particular fund that we're planning, that the Minister announced, in a very tight compliance and governance framework, where we'll have auditing companies managing the fund and auditing it. So that's the assurance we can give to South Africans out there, that every cent will be accounted for. But yes, as much as nature is beautiful, as we're flying over, the brutality of its destruction is also very evident as you fly over the Kruger National Park. But we shall survive. We are resilient. We will bounce back.
So no day visitors at the moment. You also evacuated people, so
Yeah.
I assume people can't come into the park. You'll want to open as soon as possible. Also, in terms of that bill that you're talking about, where are we looking at? 18 months, 2 years? What are we looking at realistically?
Always very difficult to determine, but looking at previous floods we've had, of course, nothing to the scale. In the last 2 years, we had one in 2023. It was obviously not to the scale. As you know, the Letaba River this year went beyond the 2,000 flood mark. So that is unprecedented in 26 years. You know that these are laborious processes. Insurance processes are laborious, as you know, even your own household, how long it would take. Then we also have the added burden, given where we operate in, of having to undertake EIAs, which is environmental assessments, before we can rebuild or build anything new. So those are the things that I'm saying bureaucratically tend to slow down the progress. However, we are going to find ways of making sure that we bounce back as quickly as possible. The revenue that we generate from tourism is very critical for our national parks. So we can't have a situation where roads are inaccessible for months on end. We can't have situations where we have rest camps that are closed and we can't sell them. So we have no option but to expedite as much as we can what is within our control. And that's really where we are.
Thank you very much. The CEO of SANParks, Selo, talking to us about the damages sustained here at the Kruger National Park, and of course their wish to basically rebuild as soon as possible, but obviously as safely as possible as well. Calling on tourists and people who love the Kruger National Park, both locally, nationally and of course internationally, to contribute to the Kruger Relief Fund. That will be managed by an external auditor. There's someone that they trust.